All right, everybody, welcome to the Two Ravens podcast, where two people sit down and chat about their minds and thoughts, specifically their unique perspectives on the life that they are living. We're going to be digging into Mihai's mind today, which I am so excited for. Skipping past the little cliche introduction, I really want to give you guys a little bit of insight into who Mihai is. So, one of my questions for the podcast is there anything you wish to gain from this interview? And Mihai is a very curious and love driven soul, and he answered, get to know you better when I'm interviewing him. So, Mihai, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. It's great to be here. Great to have a chat with you. I'm always enjoying our chats, and every time we talk, I feel better. Even if it's a text or a message, I'm like we find a way to lift each other up. So I'm really excited to have this call with you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super excited. I love chatting with you. I'm so happy you reached out. Oh, what is it? A month now almost?
Yeah,
Feel
yeah.
like it. But first little question. I don't like the tell me a bit about yourself. It feels like a job interview almost. So,
Okay.
where did you grow up and how do you think it has impacted your life?
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a nice question. Hmm. Yeah, my childhood. I grew up in a village in Romania, 1 hour away from Bucharest, from the capital. It's a very, very small village, 500 inhabitants, maybe even less. We all know one another, so there are no secrets there. I grew up in a working family. My grandfather used to work in the Romanian railroads. My grandmother used to work in a factory. My parents worked for the Romanian railroads, and we had our own cows, we had chickens, we had pigs. We would grow our own food, our own vegetables. So we'd go to the fields and plow the fields and pick up the hay. And if you have any other image of an old village in mind, this is it.
Wow.
How it impacted my life. Well, I would say I learned to really appreciate the simple things, to really appreciate life outdoors, to enjoy good fresh food that we produce ourselves. Actually, one of my one of the stories that my grandparents and parents used to tell me was that when I was about 2 years old, after my mom stopped breastfeeding me, my grandparents saw me just under the cow sucking milk straight from the cow's titties. So I was like serving myself, helping myself out. And then when they shouted like, "Hey, what you're doing? That's dangerous!" I didn't go out like through the shortest way, like under the tail. I went under the cow's neck. So I really had no fear for the animals. I loved them, playing with dogs, with the chickens. I remember we had even a horse at some point, and I remember feeding an apple to the horse. And I don't know why, but I didn't think of just putting the apple in his, like, in between his teeth. I thought because the horse has a long neck, I have to put my hand inside the horse's mouth to put it closer to his throat or whatever. So I did that. Okay, back to how it impacted my life. Yeah, basically it made me be more connected to nature, more connected to the land, and also I was mostly raised by my grandmother, and we were three boys, so I have two brothers, and my grandmother used to share everything, like one spoon for you, one spoon for you, one spoon for you, like this. If you get a candy or something, we divide it in three, and you get this piece, you get this piece, you get this piece. So I think I grew up with some values from this life that define who I am, basically.
That's so cool. That's fascinating. You said three brothers, so you have two other brothers?
Yes, I'm the middle child.
You're the middle
Yes.
child. Oh no. Me too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, another thing we have in common. I didn't know that.
Regarding me, I have an older brother, 7 years older than me, and then I have a younger sister who's 4 years younger than me.
Okay, cool.
So
Wow,
that's
another
so.
thing in common.
It always makes me light up when people tell me about where they come from, and like you coming from a small village of 500 people.
Yeah.
I grew up in a small town. Like, wow. Okay, changing subjects off of that a little bit. Where you currently are at in life. How is that affecting you regarding nature and everything? Do you still go outside? Do like all of
Mm-hmm.
that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff?
Yeah. Um, I like to think of stages in life. That's what I got from one of my travelers that I had on a trip last year. Like the stage in life I am right now. Well, I am about to become a dad. Like it can happen any minute now. It can happen while we're on this podcast. But most likely it's going to be this week or next week. So I'm in this stage in life where I'm ready to settle down, to start a family. Like I'm engaged, and I'm ready to start. Like I'm on my way to starting a business, to having m- my own business basically. And I live in France. This is where my girlfriend is from, where my partner is from. Um, we're in Colmar in Alsace, and we decided to be here for a while. We are both travelers. I've been traveling for the last 6 years or so, like always moving from one place to the other. My girlfriend, my partner, well, fiance, still finding the right word for her. But she's been on the road for 18, 19 years now. She's never been in the same place for more than 6 months. So we're not gonna be a family that stays for too long in the same place. So we're planning to, spend some time with her parents, some time with my parents, some time with friends. We're probably gonna have one or two stable places to live. But where I am now, Colmar, France, and in regards to my passion for nature, we go on hikes every week with friends. We found a really nice community of expats here that we have a lot of things in common with, and we go on hikes, we go on walks, we do activities together. I have a bike, and I go almost every day on a bike ride. Well, the family has a dog, just like I see you have over there in the back. So every now and then I take the dog for walks. We walk around the neighborhood, but mostly my way of getting out of the house is I jump on my bike and I either go to a cafe, to the library, I do a tour in the neighborhood, I go to some nearby villages. Alsace is great for that.
That's so awesome. Regarding going to the library and stuff, what books, like book titles, or even like courses or people do you currently admire on your building your business journey?
Okay, well, that's a pretty straightforward question. So I did the DANCO course, Digital Economy Bachelor, teaching people how to build an online business,
Hmm.
a one-person business, and then I'm also signed up for Jack Moses cohort, which is quite similar to what DANCO was teaching in his course, but it's a live cohort, so I'm gonna I'm for sure gonna get a lot from that experience as well.
That's so awesome. Okay.
And I'm learning a lot from you. So you're
Ah.
talking about people. So I'm also including you in this because we learn a lot from each other.
Yeah, no, it's been definitely fun getting to bounce ideas off of you. And I know you sent me like this big text the other day about Parker Worth, and I'm like, I've never read anything from Parker Worth, and so I went on
Okay.
like a rabbit hole of Parker Worth, and he's got some really good stuff.
Yeah, he has a cool story also. Yeah.
Okay, so regarding Jack Moses's cohort, I know we talked a little bit about it. You were saying that it's probably the basics, but it's mainly your networking. You do a
Hmm.
lot of DMing and a lot of calls. I know you do. So what has been the turning point and like what got you into networking as much as you do on X? Is it just natural to you from what you've been doing, or is it something that you were taught?
Ooh, wow. This is gonna open a deep subject, this question. Like this is a big one. Because for me it's been a big change. So now I can introduce a little bit about my story, right? So when I was 13 or so, my uncle asked me, like, do you want to go to a military high school? My uncle was in the military. And I was like, sure, why not? Like, I had no idea what a military high school is. And I went to the military high school, and basically from not even 15 until almost 25, I was in the military system. So what this did to me was it took me from a kid that was full of excitement and curious about anything and everything, and open and smiley and into poetry and acting and writing and languages. And it put me into this military system, which basically puts people in boxes. So you wear the same uniform, you have the same haircut, and what's most important related to your question, you have ways of addressing one another. So when you talk to a superior, you have to ask for permission to talk to that person. The same when someone that is of an inferior rank comes to you to ask you for something, normally they should ask for permission to talk. So maybe it sounds harsh, but to me, it seemed like a form of humiliation for me as a person to always have to ask for permission to talk to someone, to always have to, yeah, to basically humiliate myself. So what this did to me was it stopped me from reaching out to people. It blocked me, put me in the box. It stopped my curiosity and it stopped me from wanting to interact with people. So I was in this for 10 years, and then I had some moments, some turning points in my life, in like in the last year or so of the military life, that made me want to quit. And after I did this, I literally saw the world with baby's eyes. I was like, wow, I am 25 years old. I've never seen anything of this world before. Like, I was always just with my colleagues, work, going to see my family, and that was it. Like, not much outside of it. But when I got out, I was like, wow, everything is new, everything is amazing, everything is possible. And I wanted to see everything and I wanted to explore everything. So I did this, and this got me to this job as a luxury adventure travel guide, which implies to spend a week with people that want to go on holidays and want to do some adventure. So it can be a week long of cycling every day, walking and hiking. It can be multi-adventure, combining walking, cycling, kayaking, rafting, ziplining. So all of these things. So it became part of my job to interact with people. And in the beginning, I have to say it was a little bit difficult. Like, I remember I had a training for this job, and one of the feedback that I got was like, Mihai, you never spoke to any of your teachers other than in class. And after they said this, I was like, well, of course I didn't, because I see them as superiors. So for me, in my mindset coming from the military, you interact with superiors only when you need to, and you need to ask for permission. So you go to them when you have something to ask. Or so of course I wasn't going to talk to my teachers or my mentors, because I didn't have anything to ask, or I didn't feel like I had the right to. So anyway, this changed when I started working with people more, and I realized, actually these people are interesting, and I have so many things to learn from them, and I have so many things to talk about. So this opened me up to the people. And to come back to your question, what got me to be so much into networking and DMing? Basically, I took this course from Dan Coe, and one of his main things was, if you want to grow in the beginning, if you want to get better at your skills, at your writing, at talking, or whatever, the biggest focus that needs to happen is to DM and to engage and to reach out to people. So I took this through my um, my curiosity lens, but also my military discipline lens. So if Dan Code says that this is what I need to grow and this is what I need to focus on, then I do it. So I did it as much as possible, and this got me here.
That's so awesome. I think that's the whole journey of it all has helped you out. Like you said, the military discipline plus the working as a travel guide, like the way those coincide so well is fascinating in your mind. Like so many people would take that away from that. Oh wow. Okay, so you have an early post. I think it was early February is when I found it. It said personal growth means turning yourself into Frankenstein. Early
Mm.
on in your personal growth journey, who was your Frankenstein combination to make you you? I know Mark Manson was one of them you posted about, but are
Hmm.
there other ones?
Yeah, of course. So let's see. Who inspired me? Well, I had models. One of my biggest models was this friend of mine. So towards the end of my time in the military, I met this guy that was 2 years older than me, and I was very inspired by him. So he was all about personal development, all about business, starting his projects. We started a lot of projects together. We ended up starting an NGO, and we ended up being roommates. And I was so inspired by his energy, by his excitement, by his ability to bring people together. So we had at some point, I think, 50 people part of this NGO, and we were coordinating them. I was in charge of one of the departments, and we would do events every week, and we had projects. So this guy was a big one because he inspired me. He showed me like even though you're in the military, you can do it. You can have a life outside of it, and that inspired me a lot. And other than that, I had some models that also inspired me. So there was a person in the military, and he inspired me. He shocked me through his kindness and his openness. And anytime you'd go into his office or anytime you'd go and reach out to him, he would be like, how can I help? Like, I don't know if you've seen New Amsterdam. There's this series on Netflix or whatever. There's this guy who is the director of a hospital, and he's turning the hospital, you know, inside out. But this is his words. Like every time someone goes to him or he goes to someone, like, how can I help? And this guy reminds me of him. Like anytime I would go into his office or anytime would have someone would have a problem, he just like, how can I help? And he genuinely wants to help and wants to make people better. So this was a big inspiration for me. Also, I have this person as a model in my mind, and also he was my commander. Also, when I was in the military in the final years, so he was my immediate commander, and we're still in touch. I still see him as a mentor, maybe even like my father. Like whenever I go to Romania, I have this dentist in the city where I used to work, and I go to the same dentist, even though it's 1 hour away from where I live in the opposite direction than Bucharest. So I do a detour, but I still go to the same dentist because for once it's a really good dentist, but also I get to see this person. So I make an effort to do both. And this person is also like very open-minded, very knowledgeable, always wants to learn, and also always wants to help. So even last week I had something with the insurance that he helped me with. So really inspiring to have this as early models.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like you're explaining yourself from an outside view because you're like a sponge, and everything that you just talked about is exactly how I see you. Okay. Wow. Really making me think about these questions today. what?
Cool.
How about we What are your current Frankenstein combinations? Who do you currently in the personal growth and personal branding space? I know Danco was one in the very early beginning, but is there new ones that have developed?
Yes. Okay, the thing what I'm going through right now is I am entering a new field, right? It's a new area for me. Even though I've been into business, like I wanted to have my own business. I think I did the first business course 2018. So I always played around with this idea of starting my business. And then Tony Robbins was a big figure. Like I watched a lot of his content, read some of his books. So was very inspired by Tony Robbins. But Tony Robbins is more like a very outspoken person, full of energy, like a volcano. Like, whoa, let's do this! Whoa! So Danco is definitely a big one because Danco is more of a philosopher, like calm person, and I see myself more as maybe a grounding person like he is, but I also have some playfulness, some joyfulness that Danko doesn't show as much. But what I want to go where I want to go with this is that I'm at a stage where I don't think as much. I don't see. I feel like I'm a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of information that I have and amount of models that I have, and I feel like the message that I got from Dan Co is believe in yourself. This is like when I saw his videos and his content, is like believe in yourself. So for me, I'm at a stage where I think I have enough from others to just be myself. So I have others. For example, Kieran Drew is one person that I want to go deeper into because I feel he's kind of on a path that I want to be on. So focusing on improving your writing, and then you get better at writing, and then you can get better at business, and then you can do whatever you want because you can express your message in a persuasive way, and then the business part. So I feel like he's on a path that I want to be on, and I look at him as maybe a model, maybe someone to get inspired from, but I am trying to keep myself a little bit away from trying to copy someone else too much. Like I want to be myself and put myself and create my systems and create my way of doing things.
Definitely. That's awesome. Have you found any breakthroughs yet in creating those systems? I know you're currently at that strategizing point, but has
hmm
there been anything that's been like a stepping stone towards where you want to go?
Yeah, one big idea for me was that I don't have to do everything right from the beginning, and I don't have to do everything from the beginning because this was a big thing for me. Like when I understood that, okay, this possibility exists to put myself out there beyond the CV, beyond a piece of paper, like put myself out there in a way that it speaks throughout time. So it's something that lasts. And I had this issue like, okay, I want to do as much as possible, as quickly as possible. So what I understand now is that I don't have to do this. It's okay to only take parts of myself and of my experience and focus on that for a little while, and to use that as as something that will help me grow. And then the more I grow, the more experience I have, and the broader I can go. So that has been um, something that's been like a breakthrough for me. Also, the fact that I want to focus on writing because I come from a background of not having much business experience and also not having much experience that's applicable to the digital creator world. So I don't have web design skills or marketing or email marketing or this kind of skills that are directly applicable to the industry. What I do have is a lot of stories and a lot of mm, passion for self development. And then I decided to focus on writing because, as you said a while back, like writing is what connects everything. So I decided on just focusing on becoming a better writer, and then everything else is just building blocks.
Yeah, I got that everything is writing from Dan Coe. He even talks about it in one of his recent podcasts. Is like everything down to the script for a video or a text is like writing. If you don't write well, no one's gonna read it.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's actually something I've kind of been playing with too. I have this model. Do you know who Jordan Peterson is?
Yes.
So he has the self-authoring suite. It's like a program where you go through all of your experiences and everything.
Mm.
And he has it where you separate your life into 12 sequences. So like mine is my elementary school years, and then it's I think I have like 6th and 7th grade, which is when you're 13 and 14, and then I have my early high school years, and then my senior year is like its own time period, and then my first summer out of high school is its own time period. And from the business perspective and marketing perspective, if you look at the way you go through it, you start at the 5 stages of awareness,
Yeah.
unaware. Okay, you almost start at your life. You start at unaware. So my elementary school phase, I'm like living life, creative, all of that thing. And then as I work through it, I'm like, oh, I slowly go through the stages of awareness that like life is more than this. And so what I'm setting up a huge client thing for creators to where you sit down and you start at your elementary school years. Where what were you doing in elementary? For you, you were playing with horses and naturally enjoying the world. And if you look at your stages, you slowly went through the phase where it got dark and you didn't know what you were doing and you were at the problem aware but didn't know what you were doing about it. And then you're slowly into the I'm solution aware. I know how I can fix it, but I'm doing the military. I can't fix it. And now and then you take it into the I'm changing it. I'm fixing it. I'm figuring it out. Like we're doing it, and it asks like all of those questions. And it the way it's trying to get it to work is it's a content planner for a year. You spend 3 months taking your audience from your unaware phase. This is who I was when I was unaware. I focused on this, that, the other thing, and you throw in, you sprinkle in like this is where I'm at now, but this is where I started, and you take your audience from completely unaware in your elementary school phase to wherever you are currently at and what you're building, and it's like this huge client thing where you go through, and it's so like my content strategy right now is taking my young mind from like elementary school phase. Where was I at? What was I doing? And how can I relate that to where I can become solution aware? Is something I'm toying with right now. It's very complex because you have to sit in the uncomfortable fact that you have still a lot of growing to do, but
Hmm.
you've grown a lot still. So that's something I'm working on. I'm glad you brought that up because it's been a project.
Yeah, yeah. I like this idea of thinking of life in stages, you know. It's like there's always a new stage, and it can be, as you said, it can be several years or it can be just a summer. But
Mm-hmm.
if it means a lot for you, that's a stage for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. Excuse me, I need some water. And we
Yeah.
usually don't talk a whole lot.
Well, I told you I want to learn more about you,
Ah,
so
um, oh man, you sped through those questions that I had. I'm like, my brain is processing.
yeah, you
Um,
can ask them again. I'm sure I can have more things to add.
that's that's actually a fun thing. There's a huge study on it where I can't remember who the study was, but he took his college students and he made them is rough, but he had them journal about the same traumatic experience 5 times in a row, different days. And so it's like
Mm.
if you talk about something 5 times in a row, you emotionally detach but logically understand. It's really cool,
Oh,
actually.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I'll have to
Well, this
find
is
it.
one of the things. This is one of the things that I'm doing now with engaging with people and talking to people. It's uncomfortable because sometimes they ask me questions that I don't know the answer to, like, where do you want to go with your business? What's your current niche? Where are you doing? What's your process? It's pretty uncomfortable because it makes me think like there's something I'm lacking, there's something I'm missing, there's something I don't know. But at the same time, it makes me think about it and I can see it through their experience. And sometimes they give me advice, but other times it's just an opportunity for me to speak about my experience. And the more I share it, the easier it gets. And as you say, it allows me to detach from it.
Hmm. Yeah, what's been like a recent question that's you've been asked a lot? I know niching is one I'm asked a lot. Is there
Hmm.
one that you've worked through a lot?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I guess people now, the most of the people that I interact with, I'm still in this area where I'm talking to people that want to help within the creator economy or within this phase. So there are people asking, what are you struggling with at this phase? What's your content strategy? Where do you want to go with this? Do you want to set up this email or create a website? So it's these questions that are for a more of a beginner stage, I guess, in a business that I get asked.
Yeah. What projects are you currently building? I know we talked a little bit about a storytelling course, but what has been your main project now that we're working on?
Yeah, so I'm taking this idea of helping people become better writers and using this to improve their lives because yeah, basically writing is everything. And I'm trying to like to disassemble it, right? To break it into pieces and to see what I can come up week after week. So what I'm what I'm doing now from content strategy point of view is I want to focus for a whole week on something. So what I was doing these days was okay, what I can focus on for next week. So for example, next week I'm gonna talk about ways to get attention. So hooks and not only hooks, but I'm gonna talk about how to get attention. So how to get eyes on your content, how to get someone to basically want to open the package so they can see what's inside. So I'll be doing this for a week, and the whole week, this is something I got from Danco also. So for the whole week, I'm gonna be writing some threads, well, some tweets, some maybe some threads, some long form. So I'm gonna be posting a lot about how to get attention and my personal stories, my experiences, all through this lens. So I'm focusing on this for the whole week, and then I have a newsletter coming on Sunday, and then my plan is on Saturday to take some of the posts that performed better to see what caught people's attention and to take the best pieces of that and put it together in the newsletter for Sunday. So I'm planning to do this for longer and then to see where this takes me to. So this would be in terms of projects. And then I will be working also with Jack Moses and his team and the cohort to create my offer, to build some products, and to see where this takes me.
That's so awesome. That's a great way to look at that. Because when you go through Dan's 2 hour writer course, he just kind of is like, make a newsletter every week, but you're taking it from the lens of like, I'm still learning how to get attention, but this is how I'm going to do it. Oh, that's. I'm stealing like an artist. You might say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Do it. Like everybody's stealing from everybody. So
Yeah, no, I think
you get inspired, right? You don't
you do
steal.
get inspired. I get inspired talking to you. I mean, I've written, I wrote for 3 hours this morning, and I'm like, 3 of the posts were genuinely inspired from just chatting with you, or chatting with
Ah,
other people.
I'm
And it's really
happy to hear
cool.
that.
Do you know who Benjamin Chan? I think you follow
Yeah,
Benjamin Chan.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
His
Yeah, I wrote to
storytelling.
him. Yeah.
When I found one of his first posts, it was Art of Focus. It was like the first chapter of the Art of Focus, and he took like the three sentence quote and turned it into this really cool story. And I was like, oh, that's so
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like that's the idea of stealing like an artist, and the way you're making it sound is it's kind of like it makes me reminds me of your explode thing that you did, or your
Accelerate.
accelerate. There it is.
Yes.
It reminds me of that, like every week focusing on that one little project.
Yeah, yeah. That was so far that was the week when I was the most productive because I had something to do every day. Like I just outlined it in advance, like more or less. I said, okay, I'm gonna start this challenge, and on day one, I'm gonna talk about how to make a plan. On day two, about how to create habits. On day three, about how to start, and so on and so on. So I had a rough sketch, but then I every day I wrote like Monday, I wrote the text for Tuesday, Tuesday for Wednesday, and so on and so on. So that really motivated me to work. So just having a project outlined, not knowing exactly how it's gonna look like, but just have a rough sketch, that really helped me. So that's very inspiring for future projects. Just have an idea in mind, sketch it roughly, and see where that takes you. Yeah, and that's why I'm also encouraged by this idea of studying writing and working to become a better writer, because I feel like I have so many really good stories that I can share, and also the fact that I've been journaling for so long, like I have them written, so I just need to go back to Romania and have access to my journals, but they're infinite amount of stories that I have in those journals. All I need is just to have the right structure and the right mindset that each of those stories can turn into something valuable for people. And yeah, it's gonna be piece of cake. Like I have a stack of 20 journals, like all full of my thoughts. So when they say like talk to yourself from 2 years ago, like I literally have my thoughts from 2 years ago. I don't need to think, okay, how was I 2 years ago? Because this is what's funny sometimes, you know. I take the journals and let's say today it's 23rd of March, right? So 23rd of March 2024, and I ask myself some questions and like, what was I doing 1 year ago? What was I doing 2 years ago? What was I doing 3 years ago? So I just take those journals and I check, okay, like, and I have a structure with the journals, you know, like I write about one idea that I come up with. I write about one thing that I want to improve, things I'm grateful for, and so on and so on. So by having this structure on most days, I can just go back to past journals and like, okay, well, this is who I was a few years ago. Because so many times we think, okay, well, I haven't made any progress. Like I was looking at my, forbidden number on X, and like, oh, I feel like I haven't grown too much in the last week or so. But then I looked at this analytics, and actually, it's been doing pretty good.
You're doing great. You've been killing it. I mean,
Yeah,
you've been on the platform for a little over a month now, right?
yeah, yeah,
You've
yeah.
you've done double what I've done. Don't like
Yeah,
don't
but I
don't
think
worry
I've
about
also put double the effort, maybe, or
it.
double the time at
Probably.
least.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
man, I got a lot from that. Okay, so structure regarding journaling, how has that evolved throughout the years? What was it and what is it now?
Hmm. Yeah. So with journaling, I'll go briefly over it because it's been also a major thing in my life. So the first contact I had with journaling was in high school, in the first year of high school. It was a boarding school for me, military high school, away from home. I had no friends. My family was back there, like 3 hours away. It was in the time of phones with buttons, so not much to do. I didn't have a lot of people around me, so I started journaling just for myself. Like we had sometimes like once a month or maybe even once every 2 or 3 weeks, we had to do a night guard. So we had to have someone watch over the others while they would be sleeping. So for 2.5, 3 hours, you'd have to be awake in the middle of the night at some point just to watch what others were, to make sure that everyone was safe. So I was doing that, and in order to avoid falling asleep, I would just journal. So I did that for a little while, and then at some point, my colleagues found my journal and they opened it and they read it, and they made fun of me for something I had written in my journal. Like I wrote that I loved some sausages I had for dinner the day before, something like that. It was, meaningless for everyone else, but it was something special for me. Like I really enjoyed those sausages. And then they started making fun of me for writing that. So I got it that there was no other way for them to know that information other than just reading my journal. So it was an instant heartbreaking thing. I was like, okay, they violated my intimacy, and I was like, fuck this. I hated it, and I didn't know what to do. So I just stopped journaling for good, and I started doing it again 6 years ago or so, towards my end in the military. When I started going out more, and I took part in this workshop from a guy that was talking about self-development. So he was talking about the benefits of journaling, and then also talking about having a structure and being having a routine. So he was saying that you should talk about positive things that happened during the day, because it's very easy for us to focus on the negatives. So he was like, focus on the positives. This will train your mind to focus on the positives. Then one idea that you learned that day, one thing to improve. So you could go forever, right, as and to write what went wrong, but just write one thing that you want to improve, and then intentions for the future or for the next day. So I started with this four. Then at some point, I came across Oprah and some of her messages regarding journaling, and she was saying how beneficial it is to include things you're grateful for. So I included 5 things I'm grateful for, And then at some point, someone else was talking about the benefits of journaling and the benefits of talking about things you're grateful for and who is responsible for that. So now I write very briefly 5 things that I'm grateful for. So I'm gonna write most likely tonight podcast with Bryn, and then I'm gonna say who was responsible for it, Bryn. So this creates a different association in our minds, like who or what is responsible for the thing we're grateful for. So this is where I am now, and later, yeah, recently, about a few months ago, I came across Andrew Huberman, and he was also talking about the benefits of journaling. I guess you start to see a pattern here, right? And he was saying about, he was talking about his routine that includes 5 steps, and he was talking about like all the benefits from a psychological, personal, emotional point of view, and how he does it. So I included this Andrew Huberman routine in the morning. So every morning I do this, and it's very briefly. You can write just one word. 5 things you're grateful for. That's number one. Number two is intentions for the day, what you want to do today. Number three is And number three is resentments or fears. So this makes you think about what you're afraid of. Number four is things to watch out for. Number five is things to strive for. So it can be just one word. I do this every morning. When I wake up, I drink some water and then I journal. That's pretty much the first thing I do when I start the day. And this sets me up for the day. I have my things that I want to accomplish. And then at night, before going to bed, when I'm done with showering, brushing my teeth, and whatever, I pick up my journal and I write all these other 5 things that I previously mentioned.
Okay. I mean, we're going to get into that next, but just a little short question. Do you prefer writing on paper? Do you think there's more benefits to it, or do you do it online as well?
So some of these people that I've heard talking about journaling over the years also talked about the benefits of writing with a pen on paper. So there's a direct connection that's created between the hand and the brain. So it's what is it? Um, it's the brain, the hand, the heart, something like that. So they're all connected, and I love writing on paper. I I feel like I have, it's something that created it's a, I don't know, a reflex. Like the moment I pick up the pen, I'm like directly talking to my subconscious and like boom, I can easily do it. Um, those are some of the benefits. Some of the downsides of it are that, of course, I have my physical journals in Romania. So if I want to find some information, it's not so easy to go through them. Like I would have to go there or ask someone to take a picture or something. So there are benefits of doing it in a like on a computer or on a phone. I use for writing. I started using Notion, and I've been using Google Docs to organize my information. So I do that as well. But mostly for journaling, I do it on paper.
Interesting. How long do you journal every evening? Does it vary? I'm guessing. Or
It does vary. It's usually 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes um, I just ask myself a question, or I have something to think about, and I just get lost in thoughts or in reflection. And I also allow myself to do that because that's the time for it. I would say 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes when I have something more serious, like this disappointment that I had a couple of months ago after the big rejection from this job that I applied for, I think I spent like a good half an hour or 1 hour just writing my thoughts down. So it varies, and it's not always just writing. Sometimes it's just being there with the paper and with the pen and with myself. So it's a way for me to meditate also.
yeah, and then you also got a little bit into your routine. What does your day look like? I know you said you wake up, drink water, journal in the morning. What else? How do you form your days?
Well, this is the thing that I would say maybe I'm struggling with a little bit at the moment, because the lifestyle that I had so far, other than the military, which was very strict and very regimented, after I left the military, I never had the same day too many times. Like I had periods because when I was working as a tour guide, I would have like one day here, one day there, and so on and so on. You go from hotel to hotel, you go from country to country, so you move around. So I haven't actually established a routine while I was doing that. Um, where I am now on the way to building my routine, I would say. Um, Also building my business at the same time. So I wake up every morning. I have my water near me. I drink water first thing in the morning. Then I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth. Well, of course, I do the journaling. So yeah, drink water, journal, somewhere in between. It's not always super strict. And then I do my best to get some sunlight. I It hasn't been so easy maybe in the last few weeks or so because it was cloudy and cold and rainy, but now the sun is coming out, so it's much easier to just go outside and get a little bit of sunlight. And I have an exercise routine that I do every morning, and this is something that I've looked for very, 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 very long time to have a morning routine that works for me, and I found it, and I'm very happy about it, and it works great. And I do this every morning, and I'm just building it up. So it's the same every morning, and I love it because it's the same every morning, as I don't have to think, okay, what do I do next? What comes next? What should I do tomorrow? And so on and so on. What YouTube video to follow or whatever. It's just I started with having it watching video of the guy who was teaching it. Now I have it on paper. I had it on paper a little bit to learn the main chapters, and now it's all in my brain. It's actually even more than my brain. It's just in my body, so I don't even think about it. And sometimes I exercise and I think about other things. Like yesterday, I came up with a newsletter idea while I was exercising, just because I was able to not think about what comes next and what I'm doing at the moment. So I'm just letting my body handle it. Um, so I do these exercises, and then I go to writing most of the time. Writing, learning, engaging. This is the thing that I would like to have a little bit more structure, and we spoke a little bit about that. Like, how much time um, do I reserve for writing? How much time for learning? How much time for engaging? How much time for building projects? And this is something that I want to be more structured with. Yeah, and then life happens, lunch, conversations with my partner, take out the trash, go for a bike ride. There's not much routine after that. I guess I do most of my work, or what I consider work, learning, all of that in the morning. And then life happens. Like, we took a lot of courses related to the pregnancy, and to how to raise babies, and to how to give birth, and so on. So once a week we went to do those courses. Now I also started this furniture making course, and I'm doing another course that's how to decorate your house using feng shui. So I'm doing that. So I have those two courses every Wednesday, once a week. So the routine varies a little bit, but I enjoy the fact that I have the flexibility, and this is where I aim. This is where I want to go, like to have some projects to work on, and to have a way to put my thoughts, to express my thoughts, to express what I'm learning, and to connect with like-minded people. And then in the rest of the time, just allow myself to spend time with the family and to let life unfold.
Definitely. So, regarding writing, what are you currently using to learn persuasive writing and to learn things like that? Is it just emulating other people, or are you specifically targeting certain writing?
Hmm. Great question. This is another thing that maybe I would like to organize, to get more organized. I started to see some people that I'd like to follow. Like I like the way Arni is writing. I like the way Eshana, if you know Eshana on X. Uh, yeah, I like the way he expresses himself. So I try to copy some of their formats or texts or ideas, and then I also have Dan Ko's course. So I go through the course and try to learn something from it. Yeah, and I have my post-it notes that I have like tens, if not hundreds, of
Yeah.
post-it notes, and I'm just going over them and using those to implement in my writing.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I have Kieran Drew's course is the
Mm,
$297 one, and it has been very cool the way he has his frameworks that are just like his sticky writing framework and things like that. I'll have to share them with you.
mm.
They're really good.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah, so I'll send you a whole bunch of docs after this. But regarding your partner, does your is your partner fully supportive in this whole building the online business thing?
No.
Yes. No. Okay. Well, how
Yes,
are you
no.
working through that? Is it? Do you think it'll come around after you've done it?
Yeah. So the relationship with my partner, this has been another very serious chapter of my life, allowing myself to. Whoa, this is a whole story. We're gonna need another podcast for this. But it's basically for a big period of my life, like almost 10 years, I I consider that I need to fix myself before allowing myself to be in another serious committed relationship again. Like I was once in one, and I feel like I hurt the person I was in. So it took me like 10 years to understand that, okay, you don't need to be perfect to be in a relationship. And many times you find your way to a better you by being in a relationship. So we were friends for a few years. We started dating almost 2 years ago. And the way our relationship worked was that many times I had some ideas about things I wanted to do, mostly related to work, so like to finding a job, because we both come from this tourism industry. We both worked as tour guides for a long time. So now that we're starting a family together, we want to have the possibility to spend more time with the family and less time on the road. Because as a tour guide, you have to be like a month at a time away from your family, and we don't want that. So we've been looking at ways to find jobs or ways of having income that allow us to spend time with the family. And it seemed like every time I had an idea or a lead, I would go to her right away with enthusiasm or looking for approval. I still haven't figured that out, but I would go to her like, "Look, I have this idea. I'm gonna do this, and that." So very enthusiastic when the idea was young, when the idea was just a seed. And she has this gift of seeing very deep into someone and into some ideas, and she will start asking questions like, okay, how will this work, how will this go, what's the practical thing of this. And she would end up basically just kind of killing the idea, because when you're just starting something, you didn't have the whole plan laid out. And after I had a few of these conversations with her, a few moments of me going to her to express my enthusiasm, we decided that she cannot help it and it doesn't serve me. So I'm just not going to tell her. And what she knows about this whole X thing and business, what I'm doing, she knows that it's something related to writing on X. I'm building something that's writing on X. It's something that's real, that's possible. It's about the future, and we both agreed that I'm gonna give it a few months until I need to make it work, because we do have some savings. So we're gonna use some of those savings for a while until we make it happen, and then it's my job to make it happen as soon as possible. So that's why there's a little bit of pressure, but then as soon as things will work and I have a clear system and I have a proof that I can do it and it works, then I will be okay with going to her and showing like this is the plan, this is how it looks like, this is what I've done, this is what I'm gonna be doing. I showed her a piece of what I wrote based on a conversation that we had. Like I I started these tweets, and I like to turn them into a series. I call them the Pillow Talk series because sometimes we have this talks at night and we ask each other questions and it turns into very, very deep conversations. So we had a conversation recently about what makes people magnetic. I called it like magnetic people. What makes these people vibe and fill up the room with energy? And we have a few friends that are like that, and we had a really cool conversation. So I had a journal with me, and I wrote down while we were having the conversation. I wrote some ideas, and then I created a post, and I shared it, and I also showed it to her, and she liked it.
That's so awesome. That's really cool. Um, we'll have to talk a bit about like what's your monetization strategy looking like? Have you thought about it at all? Really? I mean, I imagine you have, but
Yeah, yeah, it's starting to get clearer.
right.
So the way I see things is to to make it in the creator economy, you have to have some skills that are useful for you and for others in the creator economy. So because I was saying earlier, I don't have web design skills, I don't have marketing, email marketing or whatever, this kind of skills, I don't have them yet, and I also don't feel very drawn to acquiring them. I decided that I'm gonna pursue writing. So I'm gonna improve my writing, and I'm gonna be able to teach people how to write. So I'm basically teaching people how to write. I'm gonna start doing this one-on-one, um, like mentoring, coaching, and then as soon as I get some traction, I'm gonna be doing one-to-many. So some cohorts, some courses. I'm gonna put together, yeah, some courses, and as soon as this work out, maybe I'll turn the courses into some evergreen content. And then when I'm comfortable with writing and teaching and the business side of it, I may move up a level and maybe teach business in general, or I'll go into something more related to personal development, personal growth. And maybe I'll do something similar with my experience. Maybe I'll start a blog. I'll turn the newsletter into something related to personal development. I'll see. But this is more or less the path that I see. Focus on writing, teaching writing, then focus on business and possibly teaching business or something else that comes up.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, man. I mean, we could talk all day. I really could chat with you all day. So let's.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
close it up and we'll finish up after the recording. We can chat a little bit more. So,
Okay, cool.
so what is one thought or memory that sits with you that you would like to leave for your audience?
Oh, okay. Wow. That's a great question, and I think it would have been difficult a while back, but it's simple. My message is believe in yourself. This is what I got from my life. This is what I got from my recent experience. You don't need to wait for anyone else to give you an opportunity to prove yourself. You don't need for the ideal job offer to show up. You don't need for the ideal partner to show off and give you a chance. You don't need anyone. You just need yourself. Like trust yourself, believe in yourself. You have it inside of you. You are here to live your life the way you want it. Like live a life on your terms, and believe in yourself.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Mihai, for coming on. We'll finish up here, but thank you
Thank you,
for
Vin.
being
It's
here.
been a great, great pleasure.